page setup feature in the File menu is a very handy feature that allows you to change the dimensions of a page. And I'll come back to explain what this is in a little bit. You can see how it's helpful in this file that I've created for my geometry class. This is my standard page size, and that works for most things that I need to do. But when I got to this problem, there were two possible answers and I wanted to include both of them on the same page. So I changed the width of the page to accommodate that. You'll notice over here in the tab view the difference in the page size. These are a lot more square in shape than this one. This one is long and narrow. Now, to show you how to change the page setup, I'm going to go to a new document. So I have this document, and we'll let this white page be the default page, and the green one will be the one that we change. So you can see the changes here on this main screen, but you can also see how they compare to the original over here. So to get to page setup, you go to File, and then Page Setup. And it will show you what your current page is set at. For my computer, the default is 1024 by 768, and it's measured in pixels, which are also called points. If you would rather make your changes in inches, you can do that. These dimensions up here stay in pixels. Actually, I take that back. These are in inches. So you have the choice. I'm going to go back to pixels. You have the choice to select your display from one of the preset things. So mine is 1024 by 768. If I change it to 800 by 600, there's not much of a difference. You'll be able to see the difference here also. If I change it to 36 by 24, you can see it gets a little bit narrower from top to bottom. If I change it to 72 by 48, that's about the same. If I change it to 48 by 48, it becomes a square. And you can play around with the different presets to see what it looks like. The feature that I like the best is the custom. If you click custom, then you have the option to change the width and the height to whatever you want. So since my standard is 1024 by 768, for the page that I made really long, I adjusted the width. I kept the height the same, but I changed the width to probably about 2000. You can see that it becomes very long and thin. If you have something that you have a lot of notes, and instead of changing pages, you'd like to scroll down, you could change the height. So maybe you'd make the height 1500. And then you'd have a very long page, and if you're zoomed in, you can start at the top and then you can scroll down through your notes instead of having to switch between pages. Now notice over here that only this page changed. This is still the same dimensions that it was when we started. So let me go back into page setup, because you can set it to affect everything. Right now I have it set for affecting just the selected pages. If I wanted, I could change that so it affects the whole document. And when I click OK, you'll notice that the first page over here also changed. I don't want to do that, so I will click undo, and it goes back to the way it was. The other feature that's available is to apply this to all new pages. If you only want to change one page, leave this unchecked, so that when you create a new page, it has the regular dimensions of everything else. This was the only page that's different. If, however, you want to have it apply to all new pages, then you'd select that box. So you go back into the page setup, and I will select that I want all new pages to have these same dimensions, and I click OK. So now when I create a page, it has the same dimensions. One final thing you need to know about page setup is that it does have parameters for what you can make the dimensions of the page. For example, if I set the units to inches and I say that I want my width to be 8.5 and my height to be 11, like a standard piece of printer paper, and then I click OK, I'll get an error message that says invalid page size. And it tells me that the minimum page size is 12 inches by 12 inches, and the maximum page size is 384 by 384 inches. So that means the dimensions need to be between 12 and 384 if you're measuring in inches. Now if we change that to pixels or points, let's say 100 by 100, and we click OK, we get the same error message, and it tells us the dimensions for pixels needs to be between 240 and 7,680. So go ahead, play around with page size and see what you find out.